Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. Narcissistic rage, it can be terrifying. It can be hot or cold, meaning explosive or smouldering. And either way, you know that you're going to feel the repercussions immediately. Later, or both. These are horrifying and heartbreaking, and so often it seems senseless. Today in this video, I want to explain to you what narcissistic rage is, why it gets set off, and how to survive it. However, firstly, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you everybody who subscribed to my channel and for supporting the Thriver mission. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I want to remind you to please do. And if you like this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Awesome. All right, let's get started. Let's have a look at the fragile narcissistic identity. It can seem unfathomable that narcissists so easily react with anger, defensiveness, silent treatment, deliberate neglect, malicious insults, and attacks. These are all acts of narcissistic rage. But why do they happen on a hairline trigger? Why do narcissists take umbrage or respond in ways that most adults just wouldn't? It's because their inner identity is not grown up or healthy. Instead, it's severely stunted in emotional childhood maturity with a false self overlay. Because of trauma suffered earlier in life, the narcissist has created a fictitious character as him or herself, someone who's grandiose, special, above reproach, and entitled to preferential treatment. All of these identity constructs are necessary to protect the narcissist against how he or she really feels about their inner identity, which is damaged, unworthy, and unlovable. The hairline trigger is any comment, behavior, or action of another that penetrates and cracks this very flimsy false self veneer. When the narcissist is high on narcissistic supply and filled up, then he or she is more robust emotionally. Yet, if he or she is low on narcissistic supply and already suffering the bubbling up of their damaged inner identity without the self-medication of a feed of superiority from the outside, then the hairline trigger becomes like a minefield, ready to explode with any wrong step. It's at these times that the retaliations of a narcissist to any perceived emotional threat is the most active. Let's check out hot and cold narcissistic rage. Hot narcissistic rage usually goes off immediately or very soon after the apparent violation that the narcissist suffered. The person could be verbally and even the narcissist could be verbally and even physically abusive and threatening. And the intensity of a hot narcissistic rage can be terrifying and even disastrous to everybody it affects. Cold narcissistic rages are stealthier, premeditated, and planned. So examples are the engineering of abuse by proxy or an elaborate smear campaign against you. Being the recipient of cold narcissistic rage is the grave experience of being meticulously targeted for revenge. And it could be drawn out, incredibly traumatizing, insidious, and hard to pinpoint and combat. So many narcissists, this is the thing, they're skilled at hiding narcissistic rage when they need to. Their life experience has taught them that allowing their true personality to erupt or to sulk and be childish does not procure advantages with new targets or people who they're trying to actively manipulate or mine. Narcissistic rages are more commonly unleashed on close intimates, such as family, lovers, spouse, and maybe friends or work associates who are in some way bonded, indebted, or dependent on the narcissist. It can be incredibly frustrating for close intimates to live with narcissistic rage on a regular basis, whilst the narcissist maintains such cordial and charming relationships with others. In short, narcissists will rage at people who they have hooked to them and who hang around for it. Also, they may continue to attack people who they feel have insulted their false self, even after separating with them. Now let's look at what can trigger narcissistic rage. Okay, the first thing is denied entitlement. The narcissist's false self needs to uphold being more special than others. It's a big thing. And if the narcissist is not the center of attention when socializing, this could trigger a rage. So can the narcissist not getting what he or she wants? The narcissist demands when unmet or denied, even if unreasonable, selfish, inhumane, or totally warped, can trigger a rage. An example could be you not stopping everything to greet the narcissist at the door when they get home. If something or someone else is made a priority, it can bring on a narcissistic rage. So an example of this may be when someone else is ill and requires attention, or the mentioning of somebody else who is special instead of attributing that title to the narcissist. The next thing is if critiqued or questioned. The narcissist's false self within the superior self-construct is beyond reproach. Even constructive suggestions for a narcissist can trigger a narcissistic rage. Absolutely. Certainly, any form of questioning of the narcissist's decisions, motives, actions, or behaviours is stepping on very dangerous territory. Trying to show or teach a narcissist something often threatens their sense of superiority, and it can trigger a rageful episode. This one's so interesting. This can trigger a rage, made to be like everyone else. One of the narcissist's greatest horrors is to not be the omnipotent being that their fictitious character needs to imagine itself as. The huge gap between feeling superhuman and like a normal human gets closed with a thud when the narcissist has to do the mundane, everyday things that every responsible adult does. Things like turning up on time, keeping your word, paying your bills and taxes, doing the right thing. These deeds, unless providing narcissistic supply, are appalling to the narcissist. And if there is pressure enforcing normality, a terrible ego injury can occur, bringing on a narcissistic rage. So this one most of us know about when confronted. Narcissists absolutely screw up. They break rules and laws, and they pathologically lie. They cheat, manipulate, violate, and abuse, and they have no concern for how their actions affect others. Naturally, people who are suffering the results of this are going to confront the narcissist and try to hold him or her accountable. This is one of the times when narcissistic rage will be the most obvious. If you try to back a narcissist in a corner, he or she will come out swinging using a host of out-of-bounds defense mechanisms. The conscienceless arsenal, that's always a hard word to say, arsenal that the narcissist uses cuts hard and brutally into your psyche and leaves you feeling like you're being torn to emotional shreds. You feel like you're losing your mind. Why is the narcissist so disastrous to your health at this time? Because he or she is trying to switch the blame and is fighting with every available tactic to maintain his or her idolized image. Okay, if called out, that's going to do it too. One of the most surefire ways to trigger the narcissist's rage is to call him or her a narcissist. It never goes well. If you try to lecture and prescribe to the narcissist about their damaged self, their wounds, their dysregulation, and their issues, then be prepared to be set upon. The greatest threat to the narcissist's false self is for the charade to be exposed. You're inciting punishment and retaliation when you do this. Okay, so let's have a look at warning signs and the flushing out of narcissistic rage. After meeting a narcissist, they will hide the immature narcissistic rage parts of themselves from you as long as they need to. So how do you pick it? And what are the warning signs? Generally, it starts by you feeling in your own gut that something's not quite right. It could be a way that they looked at you, or a slight reaction, or a few words that they said. And I've found that by asking people about their life and other people, delusions of superiority can be noticed. They may talk about other people in ways that just aren't nice. And perhaps when you're out with this person, they will treat staff that are serving you with disdain. That's definitely a way you can tell. If something isn't right, it's important that you question it. Get to the bottom of it with solidness, poise, and integrity. And if you do this, I promise you the narcissist will be rattled and will unravel into defenses that are immature and uncalled for, or they will burst into a narcissistic rage right in front of you. I share this following example often because it really is such a good one. Some years ago, when I was on a date, my date was rubbishing his work colleagues. And when he asked me how I thought our date was going, I told him that my values didn't include talking about people in such a derogatory way. And I said it calmly and clearly without fear. He then flew into a complete rage. A narcissist was well and truly flushed out, and I was overjoyed that I dodged a bullet. All right, let's get down to understanding what you can do if you're being abused with narcissistic rage. Narcissists use narcissistic rage to control and manipulate you, to make you acquiesce and do what they want, drop your boundaries, and hand over your rights and your power to them. The narcissist is also using you as their dump master to offload their emotional trauma onto, their inadequacies, self-loathing, and deranged inner feelings, and to try to relieve themselves of them. It's vital that you stop trying to combat, fix, or change the narcissist. There is only one true solution to escape narcissistic rage and all the other abusive things that a narcissist does. Detach. Pull away and start taking care of yourself. For you, this means healing all of the fears and the inadequacies inside you, which the narcissist has been ripping open and using against you to suck your life force and keep you hooked. When you do the right inner work, you'll escape those hooks, you'll break away, get well, and create your Thriver life. You will also render the narcissist powerless in lining you up and continuing to make your life a living hell, which is exactly the work that I teach people how to do. It's my mission in life to help you get there. If you have had enough of narcissistic rage, don't wait any longer. Come with me and I'll show you how to break away, heal, and become completely impervious to the narcissist's attacks. We can do this together in my next masterclass, which I'm so excited. It's just opened up. And the last one of these mega healing events, we had over 7,000 attendees. And there were hundreds of emails during and after the masterclass telling us how informative, healing, and life-changing it was. So I'd love you to join in. Okay, so to start getting relief, answers, and the healing you dearly desire, click the link at the top right of this video and come join me in my masterclass with people from all over the world. It's going to be amazing. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe so that you'll be notified as soon as each new one is released. And if you like this, click like and please share with your communities so that we can help people awaken to these truths. And as always, I'm greatly looking forward to answering your comments and your questions below, and I can't wait to deeply partner with you in my masterclass. So, and it's all free. It's going to be amazing. All right, so everybody, you know what to do. There's nothing else we can do. Keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving. And lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.